The Bodhi tree's leaves shimmered under the moonlight, their movement gentle and harmonious with the quiet night. Buddha sat motionless, his eyes closed, his mind absorbed in the depths of meditation that transcended all worldly bonds. The stillness of his figure mirrored the tranquility of the surroundings. As the world seemed to hold its breath, a farmer approached. Desperation etched across his face, his eyes searching frantically through the darkness for signs of his lost ox. Buddha opened his eyes slowly, his gaze calm and compassionate. As he observed the farmer's troubled demeanor, "What troubles you so deeply, my friend?" Buddha asked, his voice soothing like the gentle flow of a calm river. "My ox is gone," the farmer replied, his voice trembling. "Without it, my fields remain barren. My family faces hunger and ruin." Buddha nodded, his expression unchanged. As he listened with an attentiveness that carried the weight of understanding, the farmer continued, his frustration mounting. "I have searched everywhere. The loss feels unbearable, as though my very livelihood has been torn from me. Attachment is the root of suffering," Buddha said gently, his words carrying the resonance of eternal wisdom. The farmer frowned, confused by the simplicity of the statement that seemed detached from his immediate despair. Buddha smiled, his eyes soft and kind. "Your suffering arises not from the loss itself but from your attachment to the ox. Without my ox, how can I plow the fields? How can I sustain my family?" the farmer asked, his voice tinged with despair. Buddha's gaze held the farmer's, steady and unwavering. "Does your mind not cling to the idea of this ox as your sole hope?" "Yes," the farmer admitted hesitantly, the pain of his predicament still weighing heavily on his heart. "That clinging, that dependence upon this single ox, binds you to fear, anxiety, and despair," Buddha explained, his tone unwavering. The farmer sighed deeply, his mind grappling with the unfamiliar concept Buddha had presented to him. "Do you believe your happiness and survival hinge entirely upon the presence of this ox?" Buddha asked. "Yes, I do," the farmer replied, his voice carrying both resignation and a flicker of doubt. "But happiness cannot be found in external possessions," Buddha replied. "It arises from within, independent of worldly attachments. How can I let go of this suffering?" the farmer asked, his voice trembling with hope and uncertainty. Buddha's smile deepened slightly, his presence radiating calmness. "Release your attachment. Accept that what comes, comes. What goes, goes." The farmer's eyes searched Buddha's face, seeking clarity, seeking an answer that would end the turmoil within. "Do not misunderstand," Buddha continued. "Detachment does not mean neglect. It means freedom from the craving that chains you." The farmer remained silent, his thoughts swirling, his mind wrestling with the profound simplicity of Buddha's words. "I cannot simply stop caring for my family," the farmer said finally. "My love for them binds me to this ox. Love does not bind. True love is free of selfish clinging," Buddha replied. "It seeks to give, not to possess." "How do I find peace, then, amid this chaos of loss and fear?" the farmer asked, his voice now quiet. "Peace is found in embracing impermanence," Buddha said. "Understand that all things arise and pass away. This is natural." "Impermanence?" the farmer repeated, his brow furrowed, the concept foreign yet vaguely familiar. "Yes. All things, joy, suffering, possessions, are transient," Buddha explained. "In accepting this, you free yourself from their grip on your mind." The farmer nodded slowly, the beginnings of understanding stirring in the depths of his heart. "Your ox may return, or it may not," Buddha said, "but the serenity of your mind must not depend upon it." "How can I learn to live this way?" the farmer asked, his voice tinged with both eagerness and skepticism. "Practice mindfulness," Buddha replied. "Observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. without attachment, as they arise and pass like clouds. Is it truly possible to live without attachment? The farmer asked, his doubt lingering despite the wisdom he had received. It is a journey, not a destination, Buddha said. Each step you take in awareness is progress toward liberation. The farmer lowered his gaze, his thoughts swirling, his heart yearning for the peace Buddha spoke of. Buddha placed a hand gently on the farmer's shoulder. Begin with acceptance. Let go of resistance. Open your heart to impermanence. I will try, the farmer said softly, his voice carrying the weight of both determination and lingering doubt. Buddha's smile remained steady, his presence unwavering, a beacon of calm amid the storm of human existence. As the farmer departed, his mind still processing the wisdom he had received, the Bodhi tree's leaves whispered in the wind. Under its ancient branches, Buddha sat once more, his meditation resuming, his mind embracing the vast expanse of truth. The moon continued its silent watch, its light casting a silver glow upon the tranquil scene beneath the Bodhi tree. The teachings shared that night would echo through centuries, a timeless reminder of the path to inner peace and liberation. Another day dawned as Buddha walked along the banks of the Ganges, the sun casting golden hues over the flowing waters. A group of disciples gathered around him, their eager eyes reflecting both curiosity and a yearning for deeper understanding. Buddha sat upon a stone, his robes blending with the earthen tones of the landscape, his presence calming and magnetic. One disciple spoke, his voice filled with uncertainty. Master, I often feel disconnected, lost in my thoughts. Who am I truly? Buddha regarded him with a serene expression, his gaze penetrating yet gentle. The self you seek is an illusion. The disciple frowned, struggling to grasp the profound concept that challenged his deeply ingrained beliefs and perceptions of identity. Buddha picked up a handful of sand, holding it before the disciple's eyes. This sand flows like your thoughts and feelings. Another disciple interrupted, his voice tinged with doubt. Master, if the self is an illusion, what is its purpose? Its meaning? The self exists only as a fleeting collection of experiences, Buddha said. It changes constantly, like a river's course. The disciples exchanged puzzled looks, their minds struggling to reconcile Buddha's words with their own understanding of life. A young monk, troubled by his persistent fear of failure, stepped forward hesitantly. Master, I am consumed by doubt. Buddha turned his gaze to the monk, his eyes calm and reflective. Doubt, like the wind, can sway the strongest tree. The monk's shoulders slumped, his inner turmoil weighing heavily upon him as he sought solace in Buddha's wisdom. Doubt is neither good nor bad, Buddha said. It becomes a tool or an obstacle, depending on how it is held. The monk's eyes widened, intrigued by the idea that his persistent fear might serve a purpose beyond its oppressive weight. Buddha reached into the river, lifting water that glistened in the sunlight. Observe this water. It changes its form constantly. The monk watched intently as the water slipped through Buddha's fingers, its movement fluid and unpredictable, yet harmonious. Like this water, doubt flows, Buddha continued. Held too tightly, it stagnates. Held too loosely, it drifts away unused. The monk's expression softened, his mind grasping the delicate balance Buddha described. A middle path between clinging and abandonment. How do I harness doubt without letting it consume me? The monk asked, his voice reflecting both fear and hope. Buddha smiled gently. Use doubt as a mirror for self-reflection, not as a weapon for self-loathing. Let it guide, not dominate. The monk nodded slowly, his heart lightened by the profound simplicity of Buddha's advice, his mind eager to implement it. Master, another disciple asked, if the self is ever changing, how can we know what is real, what is true? Buddha placed the sand back into the river and gestured toward the flowing water. Truth is found in impermanence. The disciple's brow furrowed, confused by the notion that truth could exist in the transience of life's experiences and elements. Impermanence reveals the nature of reality, Buddha explained. It teaches us that clinging to the unchanging brings suffering. The disciples sat in silence, their minds processing the depth of Buddha's words, their hearts resonating with his calming presence. Master, the young monk spoke again. How can we live with impermanence without losing ourselves entirely in its flow? Buddha stood, his robes fluttering softly in the river's breeze. Live as the river flows. Steady, adaptable, embracing each moment. The monk's eyes reflected awe as he watched Buddha's movements, his every action embodying the wisdom he shared. Another disciple asked, Master, if we are ever changing, what becomes of us after this life? After the self fades away? Buddha gazed at the horizon, his expression unwavering. What arises, arises. What passes, passes. Focus on this moment, not the unknown. The disciple lowered his gaze, his mind stirred by both the simplicity and enormity of the answer Buddha had offered. The sun climbed higher, its warmth enveloping the gathering as Buddha walked along the water's edge. His steps deliberate and calm, the disciples followed, their curiosity mingling with a sense of reverence for the wisdom unfolding before them with each passing moment. Buddha stopped and turned to them. Embrace the flow of life. Observe it with mindfulness. Live neither in resistance nor in escape. The disciples nodded, their hearts and minds working to incorporate the profound teachings into the essence of their daily lives. The monk spoke once more. Master, I wish to ask something. How do we accept ourselves, fragmented as we may feel? Buddha knelt by the river and dipped his hands into the cool water. Fragmentation is an illusion. Wholeness arises in acceptance. The monk's lips trembled slightly, his inner turmoil giving way to a tentative sense of peace and clarity within his being. Master, the monk asked, his voice trembling, how do we begin to accept ourselves, despite our flaws and struggles? Buddha's gaze softened further. Begin with mindfulness. Observe each thought without judgment. See the self as it is, not as it seems. The monk closed his eyes, reflecting on the simplicity of Buddha's answer, imagining the process of observing his inner struggles with neutrality. The river flowed ceaselessly, its sound mingling with the distant chirping of birds as the gathering remained immersed in Buddha's teachings. Buddha gestured to the water once more. The river flows because it is not bound. Free your mind as the river is free. The disciples sat in quiet contemplation, each deeply moved by the beauty of Buddha's wisdom and the serenity he embodied. Under the sun's golden glow, Buddha's teachings etched themselves into the hearts of the disciples, a guide for navigating impermanence. The day grew long, its shadows stretching across the land. As the disciples began to rise, carrying Buddha's lessons with them, the flowing river continued to whisper its secrets, an eternal reminder of the truth found in change, reflection, and acceptance. Another day began as Buddha walked through the Jetavana forest, his calm presence in harmony with the chirping of morning birds. A crowd of disciples gathered under the shade of towering trees, their expressions reflecting anticipation and the hunger for wisdom. Buddha sat upon a large stone, his robes flowing gently with the breeze, his serene demeanor quieting their restless hearts. One disciple spoke hesitantly. Master, I seek the path to liberation, yet I feel burdened by the complexity of this journey. Buddha nodded, his gaze kind and steady. The path to liberation is not complex. It is the simplicity of mindfulness and virtue. Another disciple asked, his voice curious yet skeptical. Master, how can we be sure that we are on the correct path? Buddha gestured to the earth beneath them. Observe your steps. Right view and right intention guide you, like the earth supports your journey. The disciples exchanged glances, their minds attempting to grasp the profound connection between their actions and the Eightfold Path. A merchant spoke up. Master, I trade goods daily. I fear my actions may conflict with the teachings of right livelihood. Buddha smiled gently, his eyes reflecting both understanding and insight. Honest trade, rooted in fairness, is right livelihood. Greed transforms livelihood into suffering. The merchant lowered his head thoughtfully, his heart stirred by the simplicity and clarity of Buddha's answer to his dilemma. Another disciple asked, Master, is it wrong to desire freedom from suffering? Does this desire contradict the teachings of detachment? Buddha's gaze softened. Desire for liberation is not craving. It is the intention to awaken, to transcend suffering and find peace. The disciple nodded, encouraged by Buddha's affirmation, his heart resolving to pursue mindfulness with greater dedication and sincerity. A farmer stepped forward hesitantly. Master, in my work, I grow impatient and frustrated. How can I cultivate right effort in my daily labor? Buddha picked up a fallen leaf and held it gently. Effort must be steady and patient, like the wind shaping this leaf. The farmer's expression softened, his mind resonating with the imagery Buddha used, his determination to change slowly strengthening. Another disciple spoke nervously. Master, I fear failure on this path. What if I stray and fall short of the Eightfold Path? Buddha looked toward the horizon, his expression serene. If you stumble, arise. The path is not a race but a journey of progress. The disciple's shoulders relaxed, his fear giving way to a quiet resolve to embrace each step of the path wholeheartedly. A young monk asked, Master, how do we cultivate right concentration when distractions constantly pull our minds away from mindfulness? Buddha closed his eyes briefly. Right concentration arises when the mind focuses gently on the present, free of clinging to external stimuli. The monk bowed his head, determined to practice the profound principle Buddha had imparted, eager to strengthen his meditation practice. A disciple interrupted suddenly. Master, is liberation achieved in solitude, or must we practice with others to truly embody mindfulness and wisdom? Buddha opened his eyes slowly. Both solitude and community teach us. Solitude clarifies the mind. Community strengthens compassion and understanding. The disciple reflected deeply, his question answered with simplicity yet leaving space for further self-exploration within. Buddha's response. Another disciple asked hesitantly, Master, what if my words harm others, even unintentionally? How can I practice right speech effectively? Buddha gestured toward the trees swaying gently in the wind. Speak like the wind, soft and compassionate, never uprooting or causing harm. The disciple nodded slowly, his heart moved by the imagery Buddha used, his intention to refine his speech strengthening. A scholar asked, Master, how can knowledge complement the Eightfold Path? Should we not study deeply to understand the truths you share? Buddha smiled, his presence tranquil. Knowledge complements wisdom when used mindfully. Wisdom is the light that guides knowledge toward truth, not vanity. The scholar lowered his head, inspired by Buddha's answer to integrate mindful learning into his dedication to the Eightfold Path. Another disciple spoke with hesitation. Master, when others act against me, how can I maintain right action without retaliating? Buddha's gaze softened as he replied, Right action arises from compassion, not vengeance. Respond with kindness, for love transforms what anger cannot. The disciple's expression eased, his heart lifted by the profound beauty of Buddha's teachings. His resolve to practice compassion strengthened. The sun began to set, its golden rays casting a warm glow over the gathering. As Buddha continued sharing wisdom with his disciples, Another disciple asked, Master, does right view mean seeing the world exactly as it is, without longing or rejection? Buddha nodded slowly. Right view is seeing the world's impermanence, embracing each moment without clinging or resisting its natural flow. The disciple bowed, deeply moved by the clarity Buddha provided, his mind and heart opening further to the profound truths shared. A merchant asked, Master, does wealth conflict with mindfulness and liberation? Should we renounce wealth to follow the path? Buddha's gaze softened as he answered, Wealth does not conflict with mindfulness when used wisely and selflessly. Greed is the true obstacle. The merchant's expression brightened, reassured by Buddha's teachings and determined to use his resources compassionately and ethically. A farmer spoke hesitantly, Master, how do we embrace each moment fully without fearing its impermanence? Buddha gestured to the forest. Impermanence is nature's truth. Embrace each moment as it arises, knowing its beauty lies in its transience. The farmer nodded, his heart lightened by the wisdom Buddha shared, his intention to practice mindfulness strengthened by Buddha's encouragement. The disciples sat silently, absorbing the profound lessons shared throughout the day, their hearts resonating with Buddha's calm and timeless presence. The stars began to emerge, dotting the sky with their brilliance. As the forest filled with the hum of nocturnal creatures, Buddha stood, his robes blending with the twilight. The path is not distant. Begin now, step by step, moment by moment. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts and minds filled with gratitude for the wisdom Buddha had imparted throughout the serene day. As the night enveloped the Jetavana forest, Buddha walked away quietly, his presence leaving echoes of truth in the disciples' souls. Sita knelt before the hill, her hands resting on the earth, her heart open to the wisdom of her master. The fallen leaf sat beside her, its fragility a reminder that peace is found not in striving, but in being. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.